life is a challenge. You have, of course, good times, but then there's always bad times. There's always things that are difficult. And so, I don't know, you always dream of this fairy tale wedding and having the most handsome guy in your life and things like that. So I finally had that. I had a fairy tale wedding. He fought prostate cancer for 11 years. And I was by his side the whole time, and our children. But in the end, in 2015, it took over his body, and then he passed away. But me and our children, I'm sorry, I'm getting emotional. We were right there beside his bed. I'll be honest, I have struggled so much in my lifetime. Yeah, mom leaving me, things like that. I struggled with that. As a teenager, I struggled with all that. So it's not been easy for me, but I knew I had to keep going. I had to get out of my comfort zone in order for me to succeed and be happy. Well, when I got the diagnosis of pancreatic cancer, I thought, this is it. This is it, I'm done. It was a devastating diagnosis. I was so scared. I thought, I'm just gonna be like Steve Jobs or somebody else that has pancreatic cancer. And I was so scared, I really was. And when I was a teenager and I was diagnosed with endometriosis, I didn't know a lot about it. I was so young. And back in that time frame, the doctors didn't know a lot about it. So, yeah, their solution to it all was total hysterectomy, which was devastating to me. I wanted to have children. I wanted to start a family, but I wasn't able to do that. So they told me, the only thing we can do for you, they didn't have medication or anything like that at the time. They did surgery. They took all my female parts, I guess you want to call it, my ovaries, everything. They took all that out, and I was left with nothing, really. And I mourned that loss for years. We don't have a date set. We don't have a time frame. We're just enjoying our lives together. And
have you proposed to her, maybe?
Yeah, I already did.
Oh, how was that, Mama?
Well, it was shocking, to tell you the truth. I didn't think that he would, want to marry me. I was thinking that we would just have a long distance relationship. I would come visit him, things like that. But then he tells me he wants to marry me.
Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. Miss Reche here, and I am excited to bring you another episode of Love Story. Yes.
Well, my name is Sandra Jennings Pinkerton Kibet. I know that's a long name, but anyway, I come from Pennsylvania. I was born and raised in Pennsylvania, the east coast of America. And I'm here in Kenya right now with my husband.
Yeah, anyway, my name is Oscar Kibet. I'm also a Kenyan by nationality. Yeah, I'm very happy to have met Sandra Pinkerton.
It's a little bit unusual, but I was raised by my aunt and uncle, and they had a dairy farm, a huge dairy farm. So I started out by milking cows as a child and driving tractors and just things like that. So yeah, my childhood was very good. I mean, when you grow up on a farm, you're not involved with city life and things like that so much. So I was sheltered from all those things, and it was a fantastic childhood. I can't imagine it being any other way.
Tell us something about your parents.
Well, I can only tell you about my aunt and uncle because my mother gave me up when I was 5 weeks old. My mother and my biological mother and my biological father had an affair. They were both married to different people and had children. So they came along, fell in love, and decided they were going to have a baby, I guess. So when I was born, things weren't going so great, and my mother had to work a lot because she was just freshly or newly divorced. And so I was able to go and live with them. She asked them to take me in, and I was 5 weeks old. So that's all I know is my aunt and uncle, you know, and they're my mom and dad.
Okay.
And they were so loving and kind. And my uncle, of course, I called him dad and I called my aunt mom because I didn't really know any other way. So they were so nice to me. They took me in, they loved me, they provided for me, and it was amazing how they, you know, continued to support me in all my endeavors in life. They were amazing people. And so I do have siblings, but I never grew up with them. Well, I have 2 sisters and 5 brothers. No, I'm the baby. I'm the youngest of the family. Yeah, so it's unfortunate that I weren't able to live with them, but we always have a great connection, a good, I don't know.
Yeah, good.
And we're in contact all the time. They have parties, I go to them, they come to my house. It's a great, you know, arrangement or situation, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Oh, school was hard for me growing up. I only went to high school. I didn't go to college. But because my uncle just taught me how to be independent. And so I've always been self-employed. I've never worked for anybody. I've always been able to start new employment, you know, so if something fizzled out, I was able to bring something else in. I studied in a small town called Oxford, Pennsylvania, and it was just an average small town. And of course I went to primary, elementary, and high school, and I graduated from high school in 1977.
I was born and raised in Nairobi. I grew up from a wealthy family, but one thing is my father always told us that we really have to try to be independent and fend for ourselves. So he took us to very, very good schools, by the way, in this country. So once I finished school, I realized that in this life, it's like you're all alone. So I grew up knowing, okay, after school, I decided that I have to do most of the things on my own. So that is how I built myself, yeah, from scratch. So even if things were handed to us on a silver plate, we were really taught how to. Yeah, I have siblings. I have one in Germany. That's my sister called Florence. Then I have a younger brother. The other brother that I also have, but he has his own business also. I also have another sister in Belgium, and I have another sister called Irene. So basically, it is 3 boys, Sorry, it's 3 boys, 3 girls. Yeah.
And how was your relationship with your parents growing up?
Okay, my father was very, very harsh. He was a pepperly individual. So I used to fear him so many times. But one thing I liked about him is that he raised us in a very, very strict background. And then he took us to very, very good schools. And he was he really worked hard, yeah, for us. So we really did not lack when you were young. Yeah.
When did you complete your studies?
I completed in 1997. Right now I'm 40, I'll be 48 this year.
And what did you study?
Okay, after school, after Form 4, I decided to be dependent. I was to go to college, but I did not. So what happened is, first I went into apprenticeship in a company called St. Austin's. So I studied heavy commercial mechanics from there. So from after that, I was out for I was retrenched at the age of 19. I started very early fending for myself. So at the age of 19, that is when I started doing small things here and there. But my breakthrough came in when I managed to meet a British family. They were doing rattan business.
Which year?
That was in 2001. So I used to buy rattan baskets and furniture. Rattan baskets from them. In 2001. Okay, the rattan business started in 1974 in Nakuru. So I used to buy the baskets and sell them to hotels and lodges. So in 2002, that's when I decided to do it alone.
Sandy, after school, what next?
Oh my. After school, people are going to think this is crazy, but I started driving a truck. I've always done things that men or boys do, not so much what women do. So I started driving a truck, a big truck, an 18-wheeler, a tractor trailer. So I drove that across country from Pennsylvania to California and back again. So it was a great business. I moved people, so we'd have to go in and pack everything up and then load it on a truck and take it to their new residence. So that was me. Oh my, I did that 15 years and I can't even remember because I've done so many things. So
what else did you do?
Well, after the truck, I decided I wanted to adopt a child. And I did adopt a local, beautiful daughter from where I live. And then I was able to go on a trip to Vietnam. And there was still an embargo against Vietnam. The US had an embargo against them. So there was no US influence there at all, more Russian influence. So I slowly found a woman, I don't know how I found her actually, who was able to help me adopt my son. He was 7 months old.
Which year was that now?
1996.
Yes, you went to Vietnam.
Yes, I went to Vietnam.
To purposely adopt a kid.
Yes. I did all my paperwork in the States. And then I had to travel to Vietnam to receive him from the orphanage and do all of his paperwork so that he could come back to America with me. Yeah.
How did you get to know him before you adopted him?
Well, they had sent me a photo, just a photo of him, and not a lot of information. And I was so interested and keen on being a mother again, because I wanted a house full of children. I don't know why, I just did. So I only had this photograph and very limited information about him. So when I arrived in Vietnam and they took me to the orphanage to see him so that I could, actually take him back to my apartment, well, I noticed that there was a big scar here on his stomach. And I said to them, what in the world? It looks like he's had surgery. And they said, yes, he has. And I said, well, what kind of surgery? Well, no one could tell me. Everybody said, I don't know. He was born prematurely. And he has struggled his whole life with eyesight because his eyes weren't completely formed. So he struggled with that. But lo and behold, he's a fantastic man, and he's a doctor now, a pediatrician for children. And his wife is a doctor too. So, yeah.
Why adopt and not maybe get into a relationship and birth your children?
Well, I was told early on when I was a teenager that I had endometriosis, and that's where, cysts grow on your ovaries. So I had had them for such a long time. When they were taking out these cysts, they told me, I'm sorry, but you cannot have children. So I had to have a hysterectomy, a total hysterectomy when I was 25. And that was devastating. And I still wanted children, so I was bound and determined to make a family.
Yeah. How was your endometriosis journey like?
Oh, it was long, painful, devastating. I couldn't believe it when the doctors told me, you have to have a hysterectomy. Usually they leave your ovaries in, but they didn't even do that for me. It was a total hysterectomy. And so I had it from a teenager till I was in my early 20s. So I was 25, that's right, I was 25 when I had the hysterectomy. So I had suffered all that time with pain, cramps that were unbearable, times when I could hardly get out of bed. It was something. It wasn't easy.
Mm-hmm. And how was the treatment, and how would you tell a person who is also going through the same?
Oh, I would tell someone if they didn't, if they had to have a hysterectomy, that they shouldn't get discouraged. If they feel like they could love an adopted child, just go for it. I used to have this little motto thing, and it was, if death is not the consequence, then go for it. So that's what I've done my whole life, just trying to make a family, make a business, things like that.
Yes. Did you ever got into a romantic relationship during that?
Well, I did. I was married for several years, over 20 years. I can't remember. That's terrible. I think it was in the 90s. It was in the 90s, that's right. And we were married for over 25 years. We adopted 4 children, 3 from Vietnam and 1 from Pennsylvania. And my husband got cancer, prostate cancer, so he died in 2015.
Sorry for that. So you adopted all of your kids?
Yes.
With your husband?
Yeah, except for the first 2, Hannah and Isaiah, I adopted as a single parent. But then when Paul and I got married, we wanted to have more children, and all 3 of my children from Vietnam were all premature and suffering from some kind of illness or some kind of disorder or something like that. My youngest son has autism, and so he struggles at times, but he's now 23, 24, and he has a job, he makes money, he spends all of his money on himself or me or his sisters. He's just an amazing boy. His name is Noah.
How was it for you raising them as a single mom and children with disability that needs attention? How was that?
That was difficult, but I was bound and determined. I thought, children that born with disabilities, a lot of times families don't want to adopt them. So I didn't care about that. I really didn't. I just wanted a family, and it made me feel more encouraged about adopting children when I realized that these are children that nobody would want. So that's what I built my family on. Yeah.
How was your dream growing up as a young girl before becoming a mom?
Oh my, I don't know, you always dream of this fairy tale wedding and having the most handsome guy in your life and things like that. So I finally had that. I had a fairy tale wedding, and I was able to, meet someone who was very interested in me, but he was a Vietnam veteran. He had fought in the war in Vietnam. He was from America, but he was sent to Vietnam in the 70s, in the 1970s, during the war, or the 60s, I guess. I can't remember the exact dates. But so he always wanted to give back to that country. He always hated what he had been sent there to do, as a soldier, a ground soldier. And then he became a sergeant, and he had his own, he was in charge of a platoon of men. So he was always sad about, what he was sent there to do in war. So he wanted to give back. And so we traveled to Vietnam. And on my first trip there, I met this lady. Well, I actually met a man who was adopting a little child. And I said to him, oh my goodness, how did you do that? We were at the airport, and I got to talking to him. And he said, with the help of this lady. Her name was Miss Chi. So I met Miss Chi. I went back home. We started communicating. She was telling me all the things that I needed to do to adopt. So I started my paperwork, and I was doing it totally by myself. It was crazy. I didn't have an adoption agency or anything. So I made a lot of mistakes, but I learned from those mistakes, and it took me about a year to adopt Isaiah.
Is it the third one now?
He is the second one.
All right.
Yeah, I have a daughter, Deborah, and she's amazing. But when I adopted Isaiah, I knew before I went that he had special needs. So, a lot of people say, oh, I don't want a child with special needs. I can't, I won't be able to take care of them, things like that. But I was scared, but then again, on one hand, I wasn't scared. And I just decided, okay, let's do it. So I did. So I adopted Hannah and Isaiah, and then Deborah. And actually, we had went to the hospital because I helped a lot of 400 adoptive families go to Vietnam and adopt. So one of the families, their child, little girl, was in the hospital when they arrived to pick her up from the orphanage. So my husband said, well, I'll take her to the hospital to see her child, and you can take the other families to the orphanage. So I did, and he came home and said, oh, you have to see this little boy that I saw at the hospital. He's so cute, and all this and that. And I said, okay. So the next day he took me. This is kind of funny. And he said, see this cute little boy? I said, I don't think that's a boy. He said, what? So I had to take her diaper off, and it was a little girl. But she was so sweet. She was premature. She was, I can't remember how old she was. When I first met her, I think she was maybe 6 or 7 months old. So, and she was malnourished, extremely skinny, had problems with eating, things like that. But yeah, she was strapped down to a bed with both hands tied down, and she was laying on newspaper. This is going to make me cry. She was laying on newspaper in a small crib, and when she would go to the bathroom, they would just change the newspaper. So I saw her, and my heart just broke. That's the kind of person I am. Oscar can tell you. I'm very kind-hearted, and I have so much sympathy and empathy for people, and especially children. So we decided right then and there. We didn't even talk about it. I just looked at him and said, how fast do you think we can get our paperwork done? And so we went back to the States because we had so much paperwork that we had to collect and gather, and then it had to be sent to the Vietnamese embassy because it had to be translated into Vietnamese. So we were working hard, and then we were able to come back and actually take her.
And you started living together as a family now?
Yes, yes, and the same with Noah.
Talk to a parent with disabled kids. What they need, what inspired you every day to raise them?
Well, I have a lot of compassion for children, especially children that aren't wanted, because I grew up in that kind of situation. So, yeah, it wasn't hard for me. I just knew that I wanted to
enjoy the process.
Yes, and I wanted to save these children from, not being adopted, to having a family that loved them, and yeah, we just loved them to pieces.
Mm-hmm. And now your daughters and your son will be watching this video. Speak to them now when they were young. Let them know something they didn't know.
Well, when they came to the U.S., of course, they had to get used to English. My youngest son was just speaking a couple words of Vietnamese, and he had autism so bad that his head would always shake, and I would put my hands on his head, and I would say, I'm Mommy, and you're Noah. So I had to do things like that, and it was the same with the other children. They again had to get used to food from the U.S., baby food and things like that they had never had before. Formula, they had a limited amount of formula because the orphanage was only given $10 a month per child to take care of them, and that's not a lot of money. So,
tell us about your husband, demise, or maybe his sickness. How was that, and how it affected your life and your children?
Yeah, that was tough. We were scared all the time. He fought prostate cancer for 11 years, and I was by his side the whole time. And our children, he had to go to all different places all over the U.S. to receive, really intense, chemotherapy, radiation, things like that. But in the end, in 2015, it took over his body, and then he passed away. But me and our children, I'm sorry, I'm getting emotional. We were right there beside his bed when he passed, because we brought him home. He didn't want to go to a facility or any other kind of hospital or hospice care. We had a hospice come to our home, and they would show me what to do, medication I needed to give to him, how to take care of him, how to bathe him, all those sorts of things. And my children were right there. But the good thing about it was people kept saying, he needs to be in hospice, in a hospital where they can take care of him. But he had stressed to me, I don't want to go to any place Because if our kids want to see me, talk to me, I can talk to them before they go to school. It would just made things easier. So that's exactly what we did. Yeah. Oh, I was devastated when he passed. I didn't think I'd ever find anyone else, ever. I didn't think I would. And not that I was truly looking, in the first several years. But yeah, I didn't think I'd ever find anybody. But my kids, they didn't want me to find anybody in the beginning because...
You were young, right?
Yes, they were young, and they could only picture me with their dad. So, yeah, that was difficult. Mm-hmm. So now they're older. They're all, adults on their own, doing their own thing. Yeah, so after that, that's when I met Oscar. 2019 is when I came to Kenya to meet him.
Now, Oscar, before meeting her in 2019 and you starting business in 2002,
Yeah.
how was that like in between? Did you got into relationship, marriage? What happened there?
Okay. By character, I'm a very reserved person. So I also don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't party. So for someone like me, it will not be very easy for me to get someone like to date.
Yeah.
I've always had those kind of challenges because I'm the kind of person, it's just homework. That's how it is. So anyway, I'll tell you the story of how I met my wife. So in 2019, I was just busy doing my errands as usual. Then that's when I decided, okay, let me try and get into online dating. So it was not really my thing. But what happened is that on that day, I searched into a few profiles. And then I met the first one was an American. So we started discussed, but there was no chemistry there. So I decided to end it. Then I met another one. She was from Brazil.
Okay.
From a city called I'm trying to remember that
It's
name.
okay.
Yeah. So anyway, so the challenge was she could not speak English.
Her?
No.
Oh, the
other one that I
Brazilian.
met, yeah. She was speaking Portuguese. So we communicated for quite some time, by the way. It was almost 1 year we were communicating.
Which year is this now?
That was now the same year I met Sandy.
2019.
Yeah, like I said, the challenge that I had always during dating is that I'm a reserved person.
Yeah.
I'm an introvert, yeah. So I really don't mingle much when it comes to relationships. But I communicate very well when it comes to the corporate world. So I met that lady, and we were communicating a lot, by the way. So what we used to use Google Translator, yeah. So she really wanted me to go to the country, Brazil, but I was very, very hesitant. Because also where she was living, it was a city, it was not very, very safe. So I just decided, okay, it will not be possible, but we still kept communicating. Now, that is when I met Sandy.
I have a question before we continue.
Mm-hmm.
Were you focused to maybe attract whitish, or you were open for any?
No, me when I was online, like I said, I was purposely looking for a long-term thing, because I also don't do those flings. that's not
You
really.
knew what you
I'm a
wanted.
very old school guy,
Yeah.
very, very old school. So okay, we chatted with her. I was supposed to go to Brazil, but she told me where she was staying was not very, very safe. So I decided, okay, I told her I can't go there. So that is when the relationship ended. Now after that, that's when I found Sandy. And
Who swiped you?
I don't, it was in 2019. I don't know who initiated the conversation between me and you.
You did.
Oh yeah, it's me. So we started chatting. That was in 2019.
So you swiped her first, or she?
I can't remember.
Oh.
Okay, what I remember is I paid $20 to get her. I remember. Because I realized if you're doing the normal like you know, just the normal way.
Yeah, jokers.
Okay, there were so many jokers. Like I said, I'm a very
the free plan.
yeah, the free plan. The free plan was full of jokers, and really I did not like it. Now I'll tell you why I really got interested with Sandy. Why I got interested with Sandy is because there was a lot of truth in her.
How was the first approach?
It was very, very old school.
Tell me.
Because I'm also an old school guy.
Yeah.
So when I started chatting with Sandy, she told me that she adopted 4 kids from Vietnam, and she took me through the journey. And the journey of adopting those kids, and also she took me the journey through the loss of the husband. Yeah. But what really, really drove me to her, to be very, very honest, is one thing I liked with her is the humility. Secondly, what I liked about her, by the way, I'll tell you the truth. My wife is a pancreatic cancer survivor. It is not a very, very easy journey to go through. What I liked about her is she always had that passion to move forward, even though things were hard. You know, it's not a very easy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you know, swallowing like 12 pills a day, that's something not very, very easy. But what I liked about her is she is that strength in her to always move forward. Yeah, fight. Yeah, because she has been having this thing for the longest time. So I told her, despite everything, I don't mind. Even with your 4 kids, I really don't mind. Because also, as you get older, you get wiser. You need. There are a lot of things you have to forgo in life, sacrifices and everything. So that's something I liked about her. So we started communicating, and then you came to Kenya in August, 1 month.
Well, yeah.
So one month.
Yeah.
So when she came, okay, 1 month to her, she told me, Oscar, I mean, 1 month is too soon. I told her I don't mind. You know, so when you're having communication, okay, me personally, I judge character very fast. So I was able to judge that this is the woman for me.
You could sense the energy.
Yeah, I could sense, because you know, also like I said, I'm not a young person, but at least I was able to tell from the relationships I had to also these international ones too. Also, I could see the chemistry, because there has to be something that ties you between you and that person. So she came to Kenya. I was really, really happy. That was her first time.
Yes.
I really enjoyed the company together. I also informed my parents, and also my parents know about her. Yeah, so that is why, those are one of the things I liked about her.
I'll come back to that. Sandy, when you met online, what stood out from him when you met him, when you saw his profile?
Well, I have to be honest. I thought he was very handsome. I just did. And so as I got to know him, as we started talking, I realized he's very hardworking. He does all this rat and cane work. And he wanted to venture more in, grow his business. So he had mentioned about me coming to Kenya. And I think I surprised him because I've traveled, many places all over the world, not just Vietnam. So I said, okay, I'll come. And that's exactly what I did. So, yeah, he met me at the airport, although he was a little bit late.
Before coming to Kenya, how was that journey? Did you inform your kids, or your friends?
I informed my kids, and they actually helped me pack my things and took me to the airport and knew that I was coming,
To meet him?
Yes. I came for a short amount of time because I wasn't sure. What if we don't like each other? What if we don't get along? I'm going to Kenya, I'm going to Africa to meet this man.
Was this the first time coming to Africa?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I'd never been on the continent of Africa ever before, let alone Kenya.
What did you know about Africa before coming?
Well, I had, researched about Kenya, and I was so interested in the wildlife and just the lifestyle here and how beautiful the country was. I mean, when I was growing up as a child, I didn't know anything, but I got here and I had researched before I came, and it's such a green, beautiful country. So, yeah, I decided, okay, I'm going.
And the journey?
Oh, I was so nervous. I was so nervous because I decided, like I said before, what if we don't like each other? And I was coming to stay with him. I didn't get a hotel room or something like that, so I probably should have, I don't know, but yeah, well, I only stayed 8 days. But in that 8 days, I knew, this is it. This is the person for me, even though I had to travel across country.
Yeah, I get it. Oscar, were you nervous when she was coming to meet you for the first time?
No, I was not nervous because I already knew the person the person who is coming to see me is very natural. There is no, there's nothing fake about that.
Did you inform your friends and maybe family?
Yeah, I informed a guy called Chris. We've been friends for about 20 years. So I informed him that Sandy is coming. And actually, he came. Even when we are going back to the States, he escorted us.
Yes.
So he took us around hotels, here and there, different places, yeah.
Yeah. First impression, meeting each other for the first time. What did you see? Now she's here.
Okay, like I said, the most important thing in a person is not really, it's not just only the physical, but the character. That is one thing I always look at. Yeah, and I like somebody who is as natural as possible. Because one thing I liked with her is there is no fakery. I liked the humility. And I liked, I just liked the energy from her. It's not about the outside, but it's what comes out of a person. Yeah. That's what I liked about her.
Okay, now she landed. Where did you move? Where next?
Okay, when she landed in Kenya, we were living in Rongai that time. And okay, I'll be very honest. One thing I realized in this life, especially when you are dating a foreigner, number one, you have to know where they're going to stay. You cannot just take a foreigner anywhere.
Yeah.
Because the problem is, I don't want to.
Mzungu price.
No, I don't want to be so negative.
Just say it the way it is.
Yeah. Okay. You see, the challenge here at times is when a foreigner comes, everybody assumes they have money. They have money.
Savior.
Savior. So they need. Okay, when I was living in Rongai, I'm not saying everywhere, there were very many challenges. Like when somebody meets her, oh, by the way, I have kids I'm not taken to school. Are you able to pay for my kids, fees,
Because you're from Zungu.
Yeah, it's a very disgusting. It's not very good. It's not very. You see, like for example, if I went to another country, let's say in a foreign country, let's say Russia, England, or anywhere. Let's say I go there, and then the first thing I meet people, they say, "Oh, buy me this, buy me." That is very fake. So I realized when you're dating someone from outside, you have to make them as comfortable as possible. You really have to be protective from the people who are around them. Because I remember we got robbed like 2 times.
Yeah, we did.
I even remember the caretaker is the one who organized and had us robbed.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Because, okay, when you're in a foreigner, when you take them to an environment whereby people have that inferiority complex or they are not really exposed, they tend to think we can fleece from this person. That is what happens.
Yeah.
So you have to be very careful where you're staying with the person. Those are one of the challenges. So I had to move her to somewhere that is much safer.
Okay. So the impression with people in Kenya way of lifestyle here, how was that?
Well, like he said, he was living in Rongai, and I don't think they had seen many white people at all.
Yes. Yeah.
So everybody was yelling, Mzungu, Mzungu. And in the beginning, I didn't know what that meant. So I asked him, and he said, oh, it just means you're a white person. And they're surprised and shocked to see you. So that was a little tough for me, And also, people were asking him, can you get me a white woman? Does she have...
Connection.
Yeah, those kind of things. So and I think his family, his siblings, everyone, was shocked that we were communicating and we were actually getting together. So, yeah.
Oh, uh-huh.
Yeah, it was challenging at first. But, and like he said, we were robbed 2 times. Someone broke into his apartment and took all my electronics, my laptop, everything. I can't even remember all the things that they took, but they just took everything that I had brought. So that was really disheartening to me. I thought, oh my gosh, what is going on? And I didn't know if I wanted to come back or not. But because we had such a great relationship, I thought, I have to go back. I have to. So we've taken steps now to where he doesn't leave me alone, ever. And that's nice, because he doesn't want people confronting me or asking me for money or asking me for anything. So he's really protected me since we've known each other, yeah.
Okay. Kenyan food and Kenyan culture, how was that?
Well, I was really open to that because, I had lived in Vietnam and I had to get used to Vietnamese food, which was really good. I really enjoyed eating Vietnamese food. So he introduced me to Kenyan food. And of course, I didn't know how to cook it, and I'm not a very good cook. So he cooked for me. He introduced me to all the different foods.
Like, which one do you remember?
Maize and beans, greens, ugali.
What was your favorite?
Oh, there's a stew that he makes.
Maybe I can answer that for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, one thing I realized is also because of our condition, you have to be very careful of
The dieting.
the dieting. Because there was a time you remember that time I bought for you kebab from a restaurant?
Yes.
So it had an allergic reaction. So what usually happens, I'm the one who does the cooking. Because I understand what she's supposed to take, and the kind of meds she's also supposed to use. So if you conflict, it can take her back to the hospital. So the kind of food I like preparing for her, I always make sure it is fresh, like fresh directly from the produce to the table. Yeah, that's what happens here. So I realized what she likes a lot is stew with rice, and she also likes samosa.
Yes.
Chapati, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what she likes, yeah. Also, maize and beans, she also likes that. But she doesn't like, it's not that she doesn't like because of the stomach. Ugali, she doesn't like that much. Yeah, because it's a bit hard for her. Especially when it comes to digestion.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Now visiting after 8 days, right? You said 8 days.
That's right.
You went back.
Yes.
Did you introduce her to your family and some of other friends?
Yeah.
Within that 8 days?
Yeah, first of all, I called my mom, called my dad. They're all for the idea. They really like the idea. So at least she managed to meet my parents.
Okay.
Yeah. So they were really for the idea. They were really happy about it.
They trusted you.
The advantage with my parents is when it comes to a relationship, our relationships, not just me, but also my siblings. They don't interfere.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So long as you're happy,
And making all decisions.
they don't come in between. That's the good thing about them. Yeah.
Okay. Now after 8 days, she went back.
Yeah. Okay. The reason why she had to also go back is because she also had to get some medication from there. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So she went back. So she goes and she comes back. Yeah.
Okay. So were you working in the US when you were visiting 2019?
Yes, I was. I had a business. I had a big van, a 15-seat passenger van. And I would take Amish people. They would call me. It was like an Amish taxi service. So they would call me because they don't drive. You know, their lives are very different from the English people, they say. So, yeah, I started taking them around. They would call me if they needed to go to the store, or their family needed to go for a family reunion or a party, a birthday party, things like that. So I created a very big business doing that, and I did that for several years, maybe 10 years. So I was able to meet all these Amish families, and I still get packages and things from them today. Day before I came here this time, there was a lady who sent me a big package of meats and canned vegetables, frozen vegetables that she had gotten from her garden, So I still have good relationship with all the Amish people that I have met.
Okay.
Yeah.
After going back 2019, what next? What happened after that?
Okay, after 2019, you came back again in 20. She has been coming like every year.
Every year.
Yeah,
So you
every year
came back
she's been
2020,
coming.
2021, like
Yeah.
consistently.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I would stay for 3 months or longer because I have a son that suffers from autism, like I had said before.
How old is he now?
He's 24, I think. It's terrible, you don't know your own kids. But yeah, he has a feeding tube. First he had a tube in his nose and that didn't work. But then he has a tube right here. So he's fed every night. He has nurses that come, they hook him up to a machine and it pumps formula into him. It's a high calorie, high protein, protein rich diet that he's on. So he doesn't eat food. He drinks water, he drinks all kinds of beverages. Unfortunately, he drinks Monster and Red Bull, which I don't want him to drink, but he does. So yeah, he's fed every night.
Who takes care of him? Like right now you're here.
My daughter, Deborah.
Oh, yeah.
They're very close in age. They're just a little over a year apart. So she takes care of him. She makes sure that he has everything he needs, that the nurses come, he has all of his supplies, things like that.
Okay. Back to you, Oscar.
Mm-hmm.
Are you now married?
Yeah, we've already met parents, and that one is already in process.
Okay, so you're planning to get married?
Yeah.
Okay. Sandy, in African culture, especially in Kenya, when a Kenyan man marries you, they're supposed to give out dowry. Are you aware of that?
Yes.
Oscar, how is that going? Your family, how is it planning for that?
Okay, that one. Okay, about dowry.
Yeah, since now you're planning to marry her.
Yeah.
There's no dowry required.
Have you communicated that?
No, we've already communicated on that, but anyway, what do you think?
We don't have a date set. We don't have a time frame. We're just enjoying our lives together. And
the good thing we've already met with parents.
Okay.
That has already been done.
Yeah. Okay. No, now, Oscar, when are you planning to marry her or to get married?
That one already. It's this year.
This year.
Yeah.
For sure.
But the good thing we've met, parents have met her.
Yeah.
Yeah, that has already been done.
Okay.
So it's this year.
Okay, they have given you a go ahead to marry her.
Yeah, both.
Have you proposed to her maybe?
Yeah, already did.
Oh, how was that, Mama?
well, it was shocking, to tell you the truth. I didn't think that he would, want to marry me. I was thinking that we would just have a long distance relationship. I would come visit him, things like that. But then he tells me he wants to marry me. It was shocking.
When was that?
Oh, how many years ago?
That was 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Your reaction? How was that?
Well, of course, I'm old school like him, and I'm a little bit older than him. So that's one of the things I didn't know if he was like interested in or up for, But it was exciting. It was really exciting. I was so happy, and I'm so happy right now. I am very, very happy.
Yeah. So since now you're planning to marry each other, are you planning to settle here or settle in America? And have you visited America so far?
Okay, I was thinking of visiting this year. I've not been in a hurry really to visit America. Although she has been pressing me hard on it. I've not been that in a hurry.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but this year I'm going to visit.
Okay, now the plan after marriage, since now she has children that she needs to take care of, what's the plan? Are you settling here in Kenya or in US?
Okay, settling in US, okay, it has not really been my plan to settle in US. I would have preferred her to settle in Kenya.
How is that for you, Sandy, since you have kids that need to be taken care of, and how will you navigate that?
Well, I have to split my time. Half the time in Kenya, go back, make sure everything's okay with Noah and the other kids. Make sure I have a house and different things, responsibilities. So I have to take care of that. I know people are probably going to wonder why I just don't sell my house and come to Kenya. But Noah needs some place to live. And I can't put him in a home or anything like that. That's not fair to him because, you know, when he started out, he was in an orphanage. And I don't know. They tried to get other people to adopt him. And they always turned him down. They would always say, no, I can't take care of a special needs child. There was a lady who actually came and picked him up from the orphanage and took him back to her hotel and kept him for 1 week. And then she brought him back to the orphanage and she said, I can't do this. You know, I need a healthy child. So after she decided to do that, that's when I decided, that's it, I'm gonna take him. So for me to put him in a home or something like that, that's cruel in my opinion. So there was no way I'm going to do that. So I provide him and Deborah, they live at home. And
do they maybe go to school or maybe do they access education?
well, they both went through high school, but they, of course, Noah can't go to college. He has a hard time reading and all sorts of things, but he's really intelligent. I've noticed that with autistic people, they have an area in their life where they're just brilliant. And his is electronics and cars. So he can tell me every car that's on the highway, how much it costs, various things about it. And also electronics. He's the tech man in our house. When I can't get something to work right, my TV is not working correct. Noah, can you help me? Yeah, so he helps me out with that sort of thing. Yeah.
Have you introduced Oscar to your kids so far?
No, not personally, you know.
Visually?
But visually, yes. They've been on the phone, you know, things like
They
that.
have met, they know him.
Oh, they know him, yes.
Oh, nice. Have you talked to them about you probably getting married in Africa and you'll be in and out?
Yes, I have. I've talked to them about that.
And how is that for them?
Well, I think in the beginning they were really concerned. Like, is mom going to go to Kenya and not come back ever again? Things like that. But I have to go back. There's insurance situations for Noah. There's so many things. I can't even think of all the things, but yeah. So in the beginning, they were fearful that I was going to come here and never go back.
But now there is.
But now, yeah, now it's okay.
Okay. Oscar, do you face challenges in your relationship, like cultural challenges as a couple?
One thing I always say, and I tell people, at the end of the day, always live your life.
Yeah.
No matter what. So I'm never construed by the likes of or opinions of other people.
Yeah.
It is my life and
And
that's
your
how
life.
it is.
And personal challenges, since now you come from different culture and her comes from different culture, maybe in the house, do you find yourself culture clashing?
No, okay, 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 I'm not really aware of culture. Really, yeah.
Yeah.
One thing is, I believe in a balance of, like, people are free to live live their life.
Yeah.
Like, for example, I don't force her to do things my way. I'm not that kind of a person.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm very, very balanced in
Okay.
life. Yeah.
And do you experience that culture difference between you and your partner?
Well, to be honest, going to Vietnam was a very, very big culture shock for me. So the homes there, the way they're built, things like that, are very similar to the way homes are built here. So I wasn't in any kind of culture shock. I knew that in the bathroom there could be a basin. That's where I had to take a shower, you know? Yeah, things like that. I'm not saying we don't have arguments or we don't disagree on things. Of course we do. We're human.
Yeah, sure. That's what I was asking.
Yeah, but I can't say that I was really shocked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you experience those arguments, Oscar, with her? Like relationship arguments. You don't experience that?
No, of course. What I can say is I'm more of a laid-back person.
Yes.
Yeah.
She's a little bit high energy when she's angry. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So personally, okay, I'm not loud and aggressive. Yeah.
He's not.
I'm not. Yeah. I'm just a laid-back person.
Oscar, since Kenyans, or maybe not even Kenyans, people are looking for partners and companions.
Okay.
Would you recommend a dating app, or what can you say about dating sites?
Now, what I can say, and I always say, you see, it depends. You see, what I can say is, even if you meet a normal face-to-face, there is still no guarantee that it can be successful.
You get to it.
So it depends with your luck.
Okay.
Yeah. So whether you're dating, because to tell you the truth, everybody is online now, right now.
Yeah.
Nearly everybody is
It's a
online.
digital world.
Yeah, it's a digital world. Yeah. So whether you're dating face to face or you're dating online, you cannot say, like, for example, meeting face to face is
it's
much more successful. Yeah. So it depends. Yeah.
And Sandy, for singles, Americans,
Yes.
would you recommend them date Kenyan men or African men?
I don't know. I mean, I got really lucky. I did. But yeah, why not?
Yeah.
You know, you shouldn't be limited to, shouldn't have your world so small. You know, you should broaden out and, yeah, meet other people. And who knows, you might find the perfect person for you. Yeah.
And Oscar, did you got kids of your own before meeting her?
No, I don't.
Are you now planning to add more family, maybe of your own, in Kenya, or how is that? How is that the plan?
Yeah, that's a good
What,
question.
yeah.
Okay. I'm just thinking. I think adoption would work.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're planning to maybe add
Well,
some more family members?
We're going to research adoption.
Okay.
You know, we just can't go into it haphazardly. So we're going to do some research about that. But yeah, as far as having children between him and I, we can't.
Yeah.
So, and he's never been very exposed to young children.
Yeah. How for you? Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if I'll answer that one for now.
It's okay. Or maybe growing up as a young man, did you ever see yourself being a dad, or maybe?
No, okay. I'll be firm and straight on that.
Yeah.
Of course, there are those questions I get from my father many times. Yeah, like, you need to have your own, anyway, parents are like that, old school. But I feel whatever happens. So
Yeah.
I don't think I'll really. I'm just saying adoption is okay for me. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what you feel in intuition.
Yeah, like I said, like I said, and I'll always say, it's always good to live your life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, as a child, I wanted to have this big, huge wedding, many, maids of honor and bridesmaids and, best man for my husband and many ushers and things like that. Just a great, big, huge wedding, with a big, beautiful gown that was, like a ball gown. So, yeah, but now I'm more on the simple path. Yeah. Our wedding will not be like that. I've been very fortunate and very lucky to have traveled to every state in the United States, every single state, because I drove that truck for all those years, for 15 years. So I was able to go to every state. I was able to go to Vietnam. I lived there for 11 years. I've been to Cambodia, Laos, all over Europe, like Scotland, Ireland, places like that. So I can't say that I have this dream destination because I've traveled a lot. So, like I said earlier, me coming to Kenya wasn't a great big deal. I was open to it. I'm going to be honest. They were not excited about it at all. They kept saying, you know, this is not going to work. We come from two different cultures. There's no way we can, you know, get together and stay together. There are times when they would say, oh, he's just using you. He just wants your money, things like that. And so I didn't listen to them. And I just decided, you know what, this is my life, his life. And like he says, at the end of the day, you know, it's him and I, and not us with the world. You know, we don't let other people influence our decisions. And that's a big one right there. They don't influence our relationship. Well, when I got the diagnosis of pancreatic cancer, I thought, this is it. This is it, I'm done. But my doctor was able to get it in the first stage. And so after having surgery, I had like an 8-hour surgery, and then taking out half of my pancreas and my spleen and a bunch of lymph nodes, all those kinds of things. It was very difficult to heal from all of that. It took months and months. I can't even remember how long it took. It took forever, I thought, to get back, you know, bounce back from that. And of course, it was a devastating diagnosis. I was so scared. I thought, I'm just going to be like Steve Jobs or somebody else that has pancreatic cancer. And I was so scared. I really was. And when I was a teenager and I was diagnosed with endometriosis, I didn't know a lot about it. I was so young. And back in that time frame, the doctors didn't know a lot about it. So, yeah, their solution to it all was total hysterectomy, which was devastating to me. Well, it involves surgery, the hysterectomy does. When they told me I had to have a hysterectomy, like I said, I was devastated because I wanted to have children. I wanted to start a family, but I wasn't able to do that. So they told me, the only thing we can do for you, they didn't have medication or anything like that at the time. The only thing we can do for you is a total hysterectomy. So I was in the hospital for, I think, 2 weeks. They did surgery. They took all my female parts, I guess you want to call it, my ovaries, everything. They took all that out. And I was left with nothing, really. So that was difficult. And I mourned that loss for years. Until I decided, I'm going to start my own family. And then after I started, having my own children, through adoption, it doesn't bother me at all anymore. because I love them so much. I adore each and every one of them, and I love them unconditionally. I can't say it enough. I just love them so much. So that's my story on that. Well, I struggled with my mental health when I was young and was diagnosed with endometriosis. But actually, it started much earlier because my mom had given me to her sister when I was 5 weeks old. And that was very hard for me as I got older, why mom would do something like that. But she did, and I had to get on with it. I had to get on with life. So I don't know. I've just been so bound and determined to make something of my life. And it wasn't easy. It's not easy still today. It's just not at times. Because I'm single, a single parent, and with children with, disabilities. So I have struggled, really struggled, but I can't imagine my life without my children. I can't imagine it. So I would encourage everyone, if there's something if you set a goal, go for it, try it. It might not work, or it might be the best thing that you've ever done. Yeah, life is a challenge. You have, of course, good times, but then there's always bad times. There's always things that are difficult. And so, I'll be honest, I have struggled so much in my lifetime due to me being, I guess, kind of adopted. I was never really adopted. My aunt and uncle never adopted me. But mom leaving me, things like that. I struggled with that. As a teenager, I struggled with all that. So it's not been easy for me, but I knew I had to keep going. I didn't want to just stay right where I was. I had to get out of my comfort zone in order for me to succeed and be happy. And happiness is what I really strived for. And I got that through adopting my kids, through my previous marriage, things like that. I was very happy. But then when my husband passed away, there I'm down again. And having to start all over and having to encourage myself to start over. It was so difficult. I thought, oh my goodness, am I ever going to do that? How am I ever going to do this? But through time, effort, and my ability to adapt to new situations, new things in my life, I was able to push forward. So I remember I was young when I left home. I was 17, I think. And I don't know, things were very difficult. I struggled a lot. I would date someone, it wouldn't work. I would have a relationship with somebody else, it wouldn't work. Because where I grew up on the farm, not many guys would want to hang out with a girl that milked cows. So I just didn't have opportunity a lot of time to date or to have boyfriends or anything. But eventually I met my husband. I was working in a flower shop, arranging flowers. And he sold flowers. He had this truck, and they call it a bucket truck. And the buckets would be in there and slanted on their, kind of on their sides, just slanted, filled with water. And he had all the big variety of flowers. And so he would go from shop to shop, and the ladies or whoever would come out and shop on his truck. I need this, I need that, all these different things. So that's how we met. It was Valentine's Day, actually, and he came in the shop to deliver roses. And I was working there, and I was, running the cash register, making sure everybody, all these men were coming in to get roses for their, their honeys. So I would pack them up and things like that. And he asked the lady that owned the shop, he said, who is that woman who's here helping you? And she said, oh, she's just a friend. And we were just friends. And she only asked me to come because it was Valentine's Day, and the shop got really busy, and she said, I need help. So that's how I came to know him.
Okay. Oscar, how would you describe love and happiness?
Yeah, that's a very good question. Okay. One thing I can say is it's never just about yourself. It's about two people. That is the basics of love. Never just about yourself, about two people. Then at times, there are some of those things that you don't like that you have to tolerate. Yeah, so it's never about narcissism. Yeah, that's the basic thing about it.
How would you describe love, Sandy, and happiness and fulfillment?
Well, I think similar to Oscar, I think you need to have that passion, and you need to get to know someone really well, in my opinion. And maybe other people don't think this, but I think you should date someone for at least 2 years, because in that 2-year period, everyone shows their real colors. And so if you can manage to work through all that, and you're still in love, and you still want to proceed with your relationship, yeah, that's what I think. Happiness comes from within, from deep in your heart. That's where it comes from. And if you don't have that strive to be happy, you will never be happy. And if you don't enjoy the simple things in life, you will never be happy. You just won't. So happiness for me is, we don't go out, a lot. We don't go, sometimes we go out to eat, things like that, but we don't go out to bars. We don't party. We don't do all those things. We don't drink. We don't chew that stuff that they chew in Kenya. I don't know what it's called, but we don't do any of those sorts of things. We're just laid back, both of us, and we want to experience peace.
Yeah, peace is everything.
Yeah, peace. So, early on in our relationship, we used to argue a lot. Me, I was so jealous. I didn't want him talking to any women or anything like that. But now I'm older, and I realize that, it's more than just that.
Okay.
Because when he's working, he has to talk to other people and women and in his business. So, I don't feel that way anymore. I don't. We've established such a good relationship, and we're loyal to each other. I'm extremely loyal, and he's loyal to me. So I think that's another thing that you need to have, is that loyalty. I don't go around other men. I'm not friends with any other men, because that's not what he would like me to do.
Yeah, sure.
So, and same on my house.
Yes.
Yeah, just to add a little, the problem with us humans at times, we want too much expectations from the other.
Yeah.
So at times that leads to some disappointments. One thing we all have to know is that everybody is born to error, human is to error, and we become better from our mistakes.
It's true.
Yes, so it's always good. You try and also give your all that you can, but do not be that kind of a person you really want so much from.
To take.
Yeah. You really want to conform. You really want that person to be conformed to what you want. Yeah. So that's the thing.
Hey, learning from you. Leo, maswali nisukume haraka haraka tumalize. Thank you for watching. So I have another question. Talk about what you. Okay. So Oscar, what do you do to provide for your family? Then now you can talk about your business. How you're passionate. You've created this, and yeah.
Okay. Basically, I'm a crafts artisan, and I work a lot, and I also have an artistic mind. So for those people who also want to be in business, what I always tell people is right now is not like before. It's very easy to make money right now, especially if you can use the social media tools to impact yourself. It's very, very important. You see, like right now, I'm already 48. We all don't have time. You know, most people assume that because you're young, you have all that time, but it's never there. Within a short time, you find, we all don't have time, So it's very, very important, all of us, to make wise use of our time. That we are here on earth.
Right.
To be productive and to also build, at least to also add value to the community.
Do you have products or services that you offer in your business that you can talk to our fans and let them know?
Basically, like I said, I'm a craft artisan. I import cane from out of the country, and then I also, the kind of products I make, I contribute by adding employment, to people.
So sweet words to your wife.
Okay, one thing I want to tell you, Sandy, I love you very much. I'm very, very proud for you to be in my life. So I also say it's not really about the words that I say. It's about by my actions.
Yes.
Yeah.
I feel the same.
Okay.
I love you so much.
Okay.
I have from the moment I met you. From the moment I met you.
Yeah.
And I'm so proud of you because you're such a hardworking man.
Thank you.
And you, even if there's struggles, you just keep going and going, like me.
Yeah.
So we have that in common.
In common,
Yeah. There's so many things that I love about you.
No, thank you.
And I can't go into all of them. Yeah.
Sandy, you being a cancer survivor, going through all the traumatic things that you went through, and finally making it all. Talk to cancer patients right now who are watching you, what they need to do mentally, psychologically, and maybe advices from doctors or medical. Yes. Sandy, you being a cancer survivor, talk to cancer patients right now who are watching you.
Wow. Well, like you've said, I'm a cancer survivor. And I'd like to encourage people to don't give up. Go see your doctors. Go, do, I don't know how to say it. Go for checkups, routine. This is how you're going to find out if there's something wrong. And don't wait to the last minute when you finally realize, oh, well, maybe I should go to a doctor. Do it. Go to the doctor. Do what the doctor says. Get yourself involved in a group of people who are suffering from the same thing, or people that have, like maybe their parents have passed away from various cancers, or brothers and sisters and things like that. I joined a group because I was so scared, and I was not really thinking I was going to beat this thing. So mentally, I struggled, extremely struggled. So I started seeing a psychiatrist and a psychologist. The psychiatrist gave me medication so I can keep my mood stable and try to keep my life stable, really, and encouraged me to find peace and happiness. And also, through the doctors that I've seen so many doctors, specialists for various things. Yeah, I've had so many surgeries. You wouldn't believe it. I've had my gallbladder taken out. I've had this cancer. So many different things. I can't even think of all of them right now because I'm put on the spot. But yeah, I would encourage people to go see your doctors, get checkups, especially women. Go get that, the test for breast cancer. Don't wait until you feel like, oh, there's something wrong, I feel this knot, this and that. You could be, waiting to the last minute, and then you don't have that opportunity to fight anymore. So I would encourage that. So many people wait too long. If they feel something that's wrong, that's what happened with me with pancreatic cancer. I was feeling some kind of pain, like way high in my stomach. And I thought, what is that? I went to the hospital. The doctor said, oh, I wouldn't worry about it. So I went back home. I was still experiencing the same feeling. So I saw another doctor, and he said, we saw something like a little spot on your pancreas, but don't worry about it. So I wasn't satisfied with that either. And I saw my family doctor, the doctor who takes care of all of us, our kids. We have colds or whatever. And she said, no, we're going to do something about this right now. I'm going to send you to surgical oncology. So if I hadn't have just proceeded and questioned the opinion of some of these doctors, I probably wouldn't be here right now. Really, I wouldn't. So my encouragement is to don't sit back and wait for something to happen to you. Think of yourself, put yourself first when it comes to health and happiness and things like that. Because there's not going to be anyone there to pick you up when you fall. So see your doctors. Yeah, and if you experience cancer or you have a loved one who experienced cancer, you should continue to fight. Go get that radiation that you might need, or the chemotherapy that you might need, or the surgery that you might need. Don't be afraid to put yourself first, to get to the root of the problem, and hopefully, like myself, you will overcome it. I'm so blessed that God has touched my life in a way like that I've never experienced anything like that before. It's really heartwarming to know that the God that you love and trust is there. And He's going to help you. So I just have a couple social media platforms. For example, I'm on Facebook as Sandy Campbell. And I'm also on Instagram as Sandy Pinkerton.
And listening to my story here, I'm starting a YouTube channel. We'll be sharing cancer awareness.
Yes. My Oscar has encouraged me to start a YouTube channel. So I'll be on YouTube, and I will be talking about raising children with disabilities, various disabilities, also cancer awareness to women, men, teenagers, whoever, because it needs to be talked about. People need that encouragement, and because they're struggling.
Yeah, so like we were discussing it right now, we are going to have Sandy. We are going to make sure Sandy has a YouTube channel. And then if you want to reach me, you can reach me on Cherryflex, rather.
I want to thank each and every one of you for watching Miss Reche's channel and listening to our story, our love story, the struggles that we've had, struggles personally that I've had, and also Oscar. Yeah, just reach out. And she's fantastic. She's beautiful and wonderful and kind. Yes, you should watch her channel, subscribe to her, and then share it with your friends and your family members and everyone that you know, because people really want to be close, and they want to know your stories, and they want to be involved.
I personally knew Rachel's channel through my wife, Sandy. And what I can say is that I'm really, really proud and humbled to be in this channel for Rachel. One thing I like about her is that she's trying to bring two different worlds together, building communities. So I kindly urge you guys, please like and share her content. And we'll also, I was also trying to advise her, at least she should come up with a good website so that people can be able to purchase merchandise, and we really need also to support her work. Thank you so much.
So again, I really encourage you to watch Miss Reche's channel, because she is so engaged with other people. She needs your support. She needs you so that she can be able to bring more content, more couples, more people that have a story to tell.
Yes.
It doesn't always have to be a love story, but a story to tell. So you can support her through PayPal, go watch her videos, reach out to her in email, communicate with her through Instagram or places like that. But by purchasing her merchandise, all that money will go to more content, creating more content for people that really, truly need it.
Thank you so much for watching the story on this channel. I am so grateful to have you here. And if you want to watch more stories like this you're watching here, please visit our channel. And if you want to support us, visit our website, missreche.org.